And I saw, to me, Don Rickles and Richard Pryor were the funniest two individuals on two legs. But I saw what television did to them. Television handcuffed them. It watered them down. And you know, it's my choice because I really haven't found the right vehicle for me. I can't be watered down. See?
Yeah, because they tell you that there's no gatekeepers, but we keep seeing the same people open the gate.
You know, it might sound like a broken record, but Katt Williams has been dropping truth bombs left and right. He's been shouting from the rooftops about the shady dealings of Hollywood elites, how they pull strings, and even take people out. Plus, he's been calling out those who sell their souls for fame and power, the gatekeepers, and of course Diddy and his crew, plus a whole bunch more. It's like folks just haven't been tuning in to what he's been saying. But now, old videos of the legendary Bernie Mac have popped up, backing up Katt's claims. Now Bernie Mac, may he rest in power, is hailed as one of the all-time greats in entertainment. You'd think that means he had smooth sailing on his journey to success, right? Well, rumor has it, Bernie's story was anything but smooth. There's talk of power struggles, deep-seated resentment, and some serious behind-the-scenes manipulation going on. Take, for instance, Katt Williams' chat with Vlad TV, where he really went into the mysterious life of Bernie Mac. Katt alleged that the bigwigs in Hollywood who were raking in big bucks from Bernie's success actually despised him. Why? Because Bernie wasn't afraid to speak out against the shady agenda his industry pals were pushing. Back then, it might have sounded like Katt was just spouting off. But now, over a decade later, his words are starting to make a whole lot of sense.
So now I know the real Bernie Mac stories, and I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts.
And let's not forget that interview where Bernie Mac got real serious about never joking with God's name. He said it flat out scared him.
Subjects you just wouldn't joke about, you'd never go to?
I don't talk about God. I don't make fun of God.
Because?
I'm scared. I am truly, truly scared.
But when you look at how the industry tosses around God's name these days, from Tyler Perry rolling with T.D. Jakes, it's a real head-scratcher. I mean, Katt Williams really shook things up when he hinted that a lot of secrets would come out this year, and boy, has it been a whirlwind of dirty laundry being aired out left and right ever since.
It's all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.D. Jakes, any of them, all lies will be exposed. That's all.
And let's circle back to what Bernie Mac said about not messing around with God's name. Well, it looks like T.D. Jakes might just be in the spotlight for that one. There's been a whole heap of rumors swirling around T.D. Jakes this year, and some of them are downright nasty. People are scratching their heads wondering why a man of the cloth like Jakes is rubbing elbows with folks like Diddy and showing up at his shindig. And then there's this psychic on TikTok who apparently predicted all this drama 2 years ago. She went on this wild rant claiming that Jakes is mixed up with some shady stuff, like being a Freemason, taking oaths to the dark side, and serving Satan as his top boss. According to her, he's using his spiritual gifts to play mind games with folks. But wait, it gets juicier. She even predicted that Jakes would find himself smack dab in the middle of one of the biggest scandals ever, hinting that it would revolve around his sex preference.
That was the first time I understood the 2414 prophecy. It's a Freemason, that this man has taken occultic vows and that he is part of a brotherhood, that he is serving Satan, who is his true Lord. And the Lord said that Bishop T.D. Jakes will have one of the biggest scandals of all time in the Christian church.
And then there's the whole saga with Tyler Perry dropping a cool $1 million donation on Jakes' church. Now, giving to the church isn't a bad thing, but the whole was wrapped up in drama. If you watch the video making the rounds, it's hard not to feel like it's all just one big joke.
Important the youth are. So we were sitting in the service and I leaned up toward him and I said, I've just been touched to give $1 million. So favor, I pray the blood of Jesus will come upon you right now. Keep you in his hair. God, I thank you for your blessings.
Now, people are starting to connect the dots on what Katt Williams said about how the devil's got his fingers in everything in Hollywood, and how the #1 rule for these folks is to keep their mouths shut. It's like Tyler and TD are tight-lipped because they're in bed with the devil, or so the theory goes. Also, Remember when Bernie Mac opened up about why he never got his own TV show, even though he wanted one so bad? It's like they were scared of him, scared of what he stood for. Bernie was all about humility, putting family first, and chasing happiness over money. A total 180 from what the industry usually pushes. If he had taken their deal, they would have watered down his message until it was unrecognizable. So instead, they just shut him out. Back then, it might have sounded like Bernie was just joking, but looking back, it's clear he was dead serious.
Boy, you crazy, man. Hey, man, now how come everybody got their own TV show except you, man?
Because they scared of me. You know, I mean, because certain players, my presence is just too strong, Chris. And you know, it's by choice because I really haven't found the right vehicle for me. I can't be watered down.
And Bernie's story ties right into what Katt Williams has been saying about the gatekeepers in Hollywood. If you don't fit into their mold, they slam the door in your face.
Didn't Kevin open the gate and let Tiffany in? Ain't he now opening it up? Don't such and such open the gate, but...
It's no wonder people were jealous of Bernie Mac, even folks like Steve Harvey. Back in the early 2000s, there was the original kings of comedy. Steve Harvey, along with D.L. Hewley, Cedric the Entertainer, and Bernie Mac, took the comedy scene by storm with their tour. Not only did they break records left and right, but they also paved the way for comedy shows as we know them today. The other three performers were D.L. Hewley, Cedric the Entertainer, and Bernie Mac, all of whom had different styles, and also used material based on African-American life in America and black-white differences.
And so Steve was hot. We had the Steve Harvey show, so we had a national TV show. Bernie Mac was the it comedian at the time, and then DL was hot. He had a TV show.
Harvey, at the time, though, was alleged to be the smoothest of the performers, but also the most aggressive toward the audience, picking targets in the front row for comments on their hair, clothes, and career prospects. Bernie Mac, on the other hand, had a different approach, something you could call the most hard-edged, and some of his material ventures away from comedy and into the wounds of real life. But here's where it gets interesting. It seems like Steve might have had a little case of jealousy towards Bernie's style, and that tiny seed of envy blossomed into a full-blown that lasted for years. At least, that's what one of the crew members just spilled. Cedric, who was a part of the tour, confirmed that the two comedians did not see eye to eye. Yeah, I mean, you know, they were the kind of guys that they both alpha males. You know, like, they just saw it different, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they was able to get through it, he said, while on Shannon Sharp's podcast, Club Shay Shay. Cedric added that because of the feud, it had prevented them from doing another tour. I think, of course, that was, you know, definitely a contributing circumstance, but I also think that it had a lot to do with the promoter on the thing because he got a bigger head than all of us. The dude that put us all together started to really think was about him. So it started to be that, so it was a lot of those kinds of elements.
Is that one of the reasons why you didn't do? You did the first part, and then the second part.
I think, you know, of course, that was, you know, definitely a contributing circumstance.
In 2003, Mac had an interview with GQ magazine where he accused Harvey of being jealous of him and trying to sabotage him for certain movie roles. Steve would go on to address Mac's claims in a 2010 interview and revealed that he was hurt by Mac's words. Well, fans didn't think Steve was coming clean, and many of them didn't hide how they felt. One person wrote, "I never liked Steve Harvey. People always addressed how much of a raccoon he's always been, which is a fact, but he also had a superiority complex over other black comedians that he worked with, including Bernie and Cedric, too quiet as it's kept." Another individual who also has the same thoughts about Steve's true personality said, "Y'all ever heard of the Boule? Steve down low, L? You know he's slime. The real reason they Bernie is on the net. Well, a reason other than the official story. Gotta dig deep to find it, though. We'll never truly know, though. Long live Bernie, though." Others seem to believe Steve Harvey has always been a terrible person from the beginning, even to the people on his show. One of these people wrote, "I really don't think Steve is even that nice of a guy. He gives horrible advice, he's snippy with contestants and audience members, especially in early episodes. That's just kind of brushed off as humor, and he has an inflated sense of self." Also, Katt Williams had Bernie's back on this one, saying Steve was throwing shade at Bernie even when he was still around.
They came to me. I was supposed to be the fourth king. I got the offer.
Then what happened?
But I turned it down.
Why?
Because you on Bernie. And I know the truth. That man was funnier than all of y'all, and y'all thought y'all had one over on him. You thought he was black and ugly, and you were good looking, and he couldn't make it, cause you and that ain't the way comedy works.
Now, folks couldn't help but raise an eyebrow at the timing of Bernie Mac's passing. It was like a curveball out of left field. Just when he was making waves with his dedication to helping the youth in Chicago steer clear of and he was suddenly gone. Mayor Richard Daley even praised Bernie's efforts to keep the city's soul alive, but then he was taken away from the very mission he was so passionate about. Some folks whisper that there might be more to Bernie's departure than meets the eye, hinting at a darker side to Hollywood's influence. It's like his aspirations clashed with an industry rumored to thrive on violence and critics have been sounding the alarm about Hollywood's blockbuster flicks, suggesting that they might be blurring the line between thrilling entertainment and promoting violence. The flashy depiction of chaos and combat could be numbing audiences to the harsh realities of brutality. Is Hollywood's obsession with high-octane carnage inadvertently making violence seem normal? It's a question worth pondering, especially in light of what Katt Williams has been preaching. In that eye-opening interview with Joe Rogan, Katt dropped some serious truth bombs about the allure of secret societies like the Illuminati. It's like they're a magnet for folks craving power and riches, offering tantalizing perks that are hard to resist.
Because it's a very powerful concept to have, and far too lucrative and beneficial to not be attempted.
Katt makes a solid point about these organizations having their own set of rules, like an exclusive club with strict membership criteria, and as time goes on, it becomes even tougher for outsiders to break in. That's where characters like Epstein and Weinstein come into the picture. They knew what the big shots wanted and served it up on a silver platter, essentially becoming the go-to suppliers for their darkest desires.
Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists liked and provided it.
Fast forward to today, and the Illuminati has taken on a whole new vibe. It's like this ominous concept that people love to speculate about, connecting it to everything from politics to pop culture. It's basically the boogeyman of conspiracy theories, lurking in the shadows of society. There's also the talk about the Illuminati infiltrating the entertainment business. You've probably heard the whispers about how this shadowy group pulls the strings behind the scenes, shaping the careers of celebs and controlling their destinies. These theories suggest that Illuminati members engage in all sorts of shady stuff, from secret rituals to making Faustian deals for fame and fortune. Guys, there's a whole heap of stuff Katt's been dropping that folks just aren't catching on to, but trust that he's not shutting up anytime soon. Everything he's been saying, well, it's like he's seeing the future or something, because we've been witnessing it all unfold right before our eyes, and we're not even halfway through the year. Anyway, what's your take on all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and we'll catch you in the next video.